Hey golfers, it's Dave from Fit2 Golf. Today I'm going to review the Maltby STi2 iron from the Golfworks. Let's get started. So right off the bat I'm going to jump into the looks and say that this is a much nicer looking iron head than the pictures in the catalog or online. There's just something about those two-dimensional images that don't do it justice. For instance, when you look at the club, one of the things it has is contrasting finishes. And if you watch my other club reviews, you know that I don't like iron heads that are just all one finish. You know, I kind of railed on the PTM for that, being just all one kind of brushed chrome. This one not only has two contrasting finishes, it has three. If you look at the bottom of the club near the undercut cavity, the bottom of it is a kind of a polished chrome look, and then that's framed with kind of a matte iron or steel, and then the rest of the toe area behind the club is kind of a brushed chrome. And so those contrasts really make the club kind of stand out and give it that nice three-dimensional feature that you don't see in the print ads. The back is framed with some subtle black and orange lines that match the color scheme in the STi2 emblem, and that center medallion, that copper medallion that, you know, in the print ads looks, you know, just kind of like a penny is stuck on there, is actually very nice looking. It's kind of a matte, it is soft, it's some kind of polymer, and it's there for absorption of vibration and to enhance sound. And it actually looks kind of eye-catching, kind of a modern and retro look combined. Now when you look at the club, you can see that this is a descendant from the STi and the STi OS, the club heads that this replaces. When you look at the back, it's all STi OS. You have the undercut cavity, and the shape of the head from the back looks very much like the STi OS. Even though it's not oversized, it's not quite as big, it's still reminiscent of that design. When you look at the face and the sole, that's where you see the influence of the STi. If you look face on, you can see there's a little bit of a notch by the hosel. I think that's the C dimension. And it's not as pronounced as it was on the STi, but it's still there. I understand that helps to stretch the club head out, add forgiveness. And also when you look at the sole, it's very reminiscent of the STi. It has that gradual widening of the width of the sole towards the toe. It doesn't seem as pronounced as the STi, but I like that feature. It means that it puts more weight towards the toe. That's where most of us tend to miss, and helps to move the CG, and I think that that's going to appeal to a lot of golfers in terms of the look and the forgiveness. Now one of the things that this club has that the other two didn't is a beveling of the sole. So if you look, it's kind of hard to see in the picture, easier to see in person, but there's a gradual kind of cambering towards the leading edge and then the back edge, and this is to help with turf interaction. So you're going to get the benefits of a little bit wider in the toe, a wide-ish sole, and then that beveling for turf interaction. So I think this is going to appeal to a lot of players. When you look down at the club at address, you do see a kind of a medium thickish top line, which you would expect in a super game improvement iron, but you don't see any of the back of the club, which I personally like, at least in the 7-iron. You do see some offset. There is some progressive offset, but it doesn't seem any more extreme than you'd find in other super game improvement designs. In terms of the specifications, this is a modern-ish lofted club. I say modern-ish because both the STi and STiOS were around 30 degrees for a 7-iron, and this one comes in at 32. In terms of the quality control, the tolerances, mine measured at 31.85 degrees aloft, which is excellent. For this test, I paired it with two shafts, the two shafts that you can get quite easily with a club pack. The True Temper Score LT in stiff flex. So this is a steel shaft. Weighs in at about 117 grams, the uncut. And then the Maltby MPF Pro Series in stiff flex as well, graphite. Okay, so I'm going to take you out to the backyard net to talk about feel, and then we'll go over performance. Keep in mind I'm filming this during the shelter-in-place orders during the pandemic, so I wasn't able to take it to a course or to a driving range to be able to see ball flight or test it in terms of different turf scenarios. Hopefully I'll be able to do that, maybe an update later, but for now let's see how it performs in the backyard. When you look down at address, you definitely know it's a game improvement iron. I mean, the top line is a little thick, and you can see offset. It's a little bit offset, not overly pronounced, but I can't see any of the back of the club. So it may look like a game improvement iron, doesn't look like a super game improvement iron. All right, so let's talk about the feel a little bit. So that was pretty well hit, and feels nice and solid. I'm not going to tell you it feels like a forged club, but for a cast club it feels really good. All right, so that was a little heavy and a little toe, and I really didn't feel a whole lot of punishment on that. It feels really good when you hit the center, which I'd like to do more often. Yeah, feels really good. Nice club. Now, given the loft of this club at 32 degrees, I would be looking for carry distances in the mid to upper 140 yard range. And that's exactly what I got with both clubs. Starting with the Score LT, I was getting ball speeds of 103 miles an hour, swinging at 80 miles an hour. I was getting a carry distance of 145 with a smash factor of 1.29. That was a launch angle of 22 degrees and a spin rate around 5,200. With the graphite shaft, the MPF, I got just slightly better ball speed of 105 because I was able to swing it faster at 83 miles an hour. Identical carry at 145, slightly lower in the smash factor, 1.27. Identical launch, 22 degrees, and a spin of around 5,900. Maybe it's time to go back to graphite. Now, when you look at those numbers, you can see there's more in the tank here. This club has more performance in it. I was not getting my smash factor up to the 1.3 or mid 1.3 range, which is more desirable. And if you watched my most recent video, you know I'm going through some swing changes, so things are a little chaotic right now with my swing. But there's obviously more performance in here. And I have to say, by the way, even when I wasn't hitting it directly in the center of the club, this had a really nice feel to it. I obviously felt a little more punishing with the steel shaft, but that's not the club head's issue. Obviously graphite's going to absorb some of that shock, but it felt really solid, even on slight mishits. Okay, pros and cons. The pros are the price. $20 for a club head that has all of these game improvement features and is really nice looking and appeals to a wide range of players. That's a real pro. I've already gone on and on about the looks. I think it's a really nice looking club. I described it earlier as a kind of both modern and retro looking club. Take my word for it, it looks a lot better in person than it does in the print ad in the catalog or online. The performance is excellent. This is exactly where I would expect launch, carry, spin. Of course, a lot of that is due to the swinger, not the club. But this performed exactly where I would want it, and I know I can get more out of this. And so I think if you're looking for a forgiving club, it's going to give you some good distance, but has a really nice gapping to it. You're going to like this. This is a nice blend between traditional and really strong modern lofts. In terms of cons, I mean, I really can't think of any. I think it's a bold look, and so some people may love it and some people may hate it, but I really do encourage you to look at it in person before you make that judgment. Given the relative lack of cons and the overwhelming pros, this gets my highest rating. It gets an eagle, similar to the STi OS, which if you watch that video, you know I love, and I carry a set for my late winter and early fall bag. So there's a review. Post your comments below. Let me know what you think of the review. Let me know if you have questions. Other reviews are coming up. Other updates on my swing changes are coming up because I don't have any club work to do right now. So hang in there for those, and stay well and stay positive.